Hello, this is David Hess from the Bookman in Orange, California, wishing you a good morning, and this is my segment of Things Found in Old Books, and let's get started. Today, I have this book. It's called Principles and Techniques of Advanced Reading. It's from 1965, and in the book, it maybe came with the book, is this little calculator. And what it is you figure out the words per article, and you set the words per article here, and then you read, and then this will tell you how many words a minute you are reading, and on the back it's how many words per page are on the book. So this cute little calculator, and now I've tried to figure it out, and I must proclaim ignorance. I can't seem to quite figure it out. But anyway, so if you ever want to know how fast you're reading, this is your boy right here, that 1965 book on advanced reading. I have this book, Darrell Royal Talks Football, from 1963. And it's an interesting book all by itself. In the book, I found this delightful little card, All Meat Wieners. And that's the Weenie Mobile. Now, when I was a kid, I used to drive around the neighborhood. You could see the Weenie Mobile. And what it is, it's Meet Little Oscar, the world's smallest chef, and his giant Wienermobile. Compliments of Oscar Meyer and Company. So I think it's just wonderful. It's very nostalgic for me. And I found this card, and I was delighted to have it in a 1963 book. So I can imagine that the book is, or the card is from that era. I don't think they drive the Weenie Mobile around much anymore. Probably retired somewhere. Finally, in this book here, Cheerios. He's a guy who in this book was published in 1900, but it's a later edition. It's the 11th edition, so it was probably originally in the 1800s. And he was some kind of palmist. He studied palms, and they have little pictures of hands and palms all through the book. But in the book itself, back here somewhere, I found a little treasure trove of interesting items. I found Hotel Stationery. There's a Hotel Stationery. It's from the Hotel Commodore in Los Angeles, California, and it's very 1930s looking. It's just a blank page. It's cool. And so the guy must have been a collector of sorts for Hotel Stationery, because here's an envelope from the Hotel San Carlos in Monterey, California. So he was traveling around gathering stationery. And here is the Anderson Hotel in San Luis Obisbo, California. Now, I did a little research, and all those hotels are still standing. Two of them are apartment complexes now. And I don't know about the third, but it's still there. I think it's just kind of in disrepair. But so those hotels from the 30s are still standing. And I have this in the same book, this newspaper article, which I found interesting because it's also, it's Dear Miss Dix, D-I-X, Dear Miss Dix. Now, she was the original Dear Abby. I mean, she preceded Dear Abby. She was a crime reporter for the New York Times in the 1917 and so forth. But she went on to write this column, and it was super popular. And they syndicated it in newspapers all over the land. And So here's a Dear Mixed Dicks giving advice on somebody's 16-year-old daughter. Okay, so teenagers have always been a problem, I guess. Anyway, so she wrote the advice column through the 20s and 30s. Again, there's no date on the paper, unfortunately, and the other items look kind of 30ish. So I'm assuming this is probably from the same era, from the 1930s, the Dear Miss Dix column. And finally, in the same book, all of this was collected in one book. Tuesday evening, November 8th, at the City Auditorium on the Pier in Long Beach, California, was this announcement for an event of extraordinary importance. Should companionate marriage, as advocated by Judge Lindsay, be legally recognized? There's a debate by Judge Ben Lindsay of Denver, who's for it, and Reverend R.P. Bob Schuler of Los Angeles, who's against it. It's November 8th. Doesn't say the year, but I did a little research again. And Judge, right there, Judge Lindsay was a very progressive judge and social causes and things like that. And Reverend R.P. Bob Schuler was a kind of a radio broadcasting minister who was rallying against corruption and politicians and that sort of thing. And in fact, he was banned from the airwaves for a while. So this was a little planned event, and I had never heard of companionate marriage, but apparently it's kind of means like it's okay to live together and without being married, or it's kind of a marriage, but you don't get married. And so the judge was for that, and the reverend was against it. So that would have been the debate on November 8th in the 30s at some point. And the outcome, we'll never know. But I thought that was very interesting. Anyhow, that's it for today. I want to thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure. I love doing this, and I'm glad that you're watching. If you have anything that you would like to share, just contact me at oldbook@ebookman.com. Old book, no S, at ebookman.com. And send a picture of what you found and a little description, and I would love to share it on this little program, and it would be an honor, really, to share other people's stuff. I know you guys are finding stuff, especially book dealers. There's got to be a lot of stuff out there, and even if it's a receipt or an old picture or something, send it along. I'd love to see it, and I'd love to share it. And I want to thank you for stopping by. It's been a pleasure, and I am going to sign off now. And thank you very much. This is David from the Bookman in Orange, California.